Welcome back, folks. We are now joined by Nadine Leslie, who's Chief Executive Officer of SUEZ North America. Nadine, great to have you. Last time you were with us in the studio, now you're with us remotely. Tell us what the most significant challenges facing SUEZ have been since, let's just say, mid-March with COVID-19.
Good morning, Steve, and thank you for having me.
It's great having you.
So great to see you, although virtually today. So our challenges have been, I will say, very similar to many of the other industries. So our priority was to ensure that we continue to provide essential services to the community that we serve. So water was always viewed as essential, but in light of this crisis, I think that everyone, is paying more attention to it, because as you know, washing hands is essential to combat the virus. So, we went really in full gear, engage, understand what we needed to do to modify our protocols, and really continue to provide the service 24/7. So I would say that for us, what was very critical to ensure that our customers didn't have any interruption in services, that our employees were well. So the health of our employees was really key for us. So we had to quickly adjust and put new protocols in place. So, and ensuring also that these new personal protective equipments were available for employees. So that was, I think, across the board, one of our main concern and challenge that we have. The good thing is that we have this personal protective equipment in stock because it's part of our job. But our concern was, are we going to have enough should the crisis last for a number of months? So I'm very pleased to say that we are able to continue to function, to provide these PPE, personal protective equipment, to our teams, and did not have any time where we had to stop.
We're taping on the 16th of June. This will be seen later. I remember when you were in the studio, Nadine, we talked about how we sometimes take water for granted, right? Could you give a very brief, if you could, description of how you protect, how SUEZ protects? By the way, SUEZ, one of the underwriters of our program, I want to clarify that. How do you protect the water treated? What's the right word to use here?
Well, the good thing is when the water is treated, the water is safe and clean.
Not affected by COVID at all?
Not at all. And I'm sure that you have seen the CDC and many other experts speak about it at the very beginning of the crisis.
That's right.
The water that is in your tap when you turn it on is safe and clean, free of viruses.
So what's interesting moving forward is that people often talk about what the new normal is, right? I don't even know if the word normal should be put in there, Nadine. If we're into the fall, going into the winter, what do you see the biggest challenge facing SUEZ being at that point? Again, here's the problem with the question. We don't know what the virus is going to do. We don't know about the second wave. But how do you prepare for the potential that there is a second wave at SUEZ?
With what we have learned the last 3 months, we were really ready to manage crisis, but a crisis like this one, there's no playbook for it.
There's no playbook.
Continuously adjust, but with what we have learned so far, I think we are way more better off and well prepared should we have a second wave. So we are all hoping that we will be behaving responsibly and follow the guidance, having social distancing, wearing masks to prevent that second wave. But should it happen, we will be better prepared and we will be able to also react differently.
How so? How so? What do you mean react differently?
So, for instance, we had to modify our way of working. Essential employees, so the one that at the treatment plants and the distribution systems, we had to modify the way that the work is organized, so scattered schedule to ensure social distancing, re-engineer the activities so they can really be safe while performing them. for the non-essential staff working remotely. So we were ready, which was great, and it has been working very efficiently. So should we need to re-engage the team and go back, to this modified way of working, then that would be done without hesitation. It took us a few days to do so. Some of the activities in the field we had to stop because we need to really understand the exposure of our employees and re-engineer around it. So now everything is ready. The playbook has been written, and although we are continuously adjusting it, but we are definitely better positioned to respond to another wave should it happen.
Well said. Nadine, every time you join us or representatives from SUEZ, we learn more about water again, that we often take for granted. And we wish you and your team all the best. And we thank you for joining us here. Next time, we're hoping and praying that when you join us, it can be in our studio over at NJTV in Newark, New Jersey. So Nadine Leslie, who is Chief Executive Officer, SUEZ North America, I want to thank you so much for joining us. All the best.
Thank you, Steve.
You got it. We'll be right back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, MD Advantage Insurance Company, New Jersey Sharing Network, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, TD Bank, Summit City MD, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by Jaffe Communications and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.